high school. And the second one is February 17th, that is going to be at the Elks Lodge in Canoga Park. As of right now, all of these 6 candidates have confirmed that they will be there. So it will be a very colorful evening. And we hope that we see as many of the voters out there. Some of you have already received your ballots. So if you have, congratulations. We personally have not yet. So our website is Change the LAUSD if you'd like to learn more about Carl and our family. We do have 5 kids, 4 still in the district. 2 of our triplets are in special ed, so we are very familiar with all aspects of the district. Again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Always nice to see you.
Thank you. And I'm gonna go back home to my kids. Good night, everybody.
Maria?
Thank you for the opportunity. Good evening, everybody. I'm not really representing any group, but I'm just representing the community in general. We are basically still in the midst of a specific plan revision, and what I thought would have been a very, very simple project, just looking at some of the uses that bring crime into the area and the commercial areas. I decided to take a look at the specific plan recommendations from our South Council. Should I say a little bit taken aback that none of our recommendations back in 2008 were even considered in the newest planning report, which was submitted May 2013. So what turned out to be just a small project, looking at some of the uses that bring crime into the commercial areas. We're also taking a look at the specific plan and some of the other, I would say, problems that may have been recommended, not considered, that kind of a thing. Just so you know, we're going to be working on it. We're going to be making recommendations. I'd like to come before this council and ask if you've submitted formal recommendations to the specific plan revision. Anybody? Did you have
We
a
haven't
formal?
been asked to, right?
Well, I don't know, because you know, this is an
No,
ongoing.
we are just starting that.
Okay, good, good, you know, and if you don't have to, but if you do, you know, your opportunity's there, if you have, you know, some comments you've made in the past formally, you know, we're gonna be submitting them. Okay, any questions?
Okay, what's the timetable that we're looking at?
You know, we keep hearing that there's going to be a hearing before Plum regarding the community plan and specific plan revisions, but we don't have specifics. It could be 2 months, it could be another year. But as soon as you all can kind of get some thoughts together, you know, if you could get some comments over to us.
If you just keep us apprised of the timetable.
Yeah,
we'll post it on the website.
you know, I'll be connecting with Jan.
We'll be connected.
And, I think I sent you a copy of a link to this, yeah, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria. 6 seconds left. Very good. Hi,
How's that?
Janine. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful.
Hello,
Would you
good
like
to
to
see
impart any
everybody.
wisdom upon us?
Oh, sure. I feel like I'm back when I was a kindergarten teacher. How's everybody doing? Everybody's good?
What's tougher, patrol or kindergarten?
Kindergarten. We're basically coming in today, our crime in our basic car area. For those of you that are familiar with it, if you all along Balboa East, south to Lassen, the 405's our border on that side, and we kind of dart out Chatsworth to the Wash on that side, down to Lassen. So we have kind of a weird area. But our crime right now is doing really well so far this year. We had a few burglary from motor vehicles. Again, I can only emphasize, don't leave stuff in there. It's a crime of opportunity, and if you don't have stuff in your car, the opportunity's not there. Also, we've had a lot of catalytic converters being taken from older Hondas, and also this week we had one taken off of a Toyota Tundra. So park in the driveway if you have. Yes, ma'am?
What do you mean by older Honda?
Well, I can say this because I owned an older Honda once, 89 to 2001. So, and they're mostly on the streets and they just come and pull up. I think they're shopping. I'm sure that somebody out there owns, because there's like 6 Hondas. So they're targeting the Hondas. You're nodding, you know, huh?
Yeah, my buddy had a Honda, same thing. They stole his cat, I guess what they do is they steal them and then they sell them for scraps because it's worth a lot of money. And a lot of body shops around the area are also saying that a lot of cars are coming in to repair that problem, and you know, it's a lot of stuff going around here.
So somebody gets it stolen and they go to a body shop and
Yeah,
they get it
they-
stolen and put back
Yeah,
in.
my buddy was
Yeah,
like, yeah.
it's sad, and the officers are looking for, when they see people driving with large pieces of metal and things like that, they'll do stops, and we've caught, there was a guy a few months back that was going around doing it, and they caught him, but he's in custody, so this is a new person. But, hopefully it's a matter of time before we catch him too, sooner than later. So that's kind of just the crime trends that we've been having in our park. We did have some burglaries north of Rinaldi. About 2 weeks ago, we got hit hard in Dario's area, got hit hard, which is the area, west of Balboa. And, it may or may not be linked, but there was a large transient encampment that was, behind the Knollwood Plaza that was taken down, not last Thursday, but the Thursday before. When it was taken down, we went from about 9 and 10 burglaries to 1. So, I didn't see them commit the crime, I can't say they committed the crime, but logic tells you that may have had something to do with it. So one of the things we're asking from you, since you guys live in the area, is if you happen to see an encampment go up, let me know. Especially if you're walking around, whenever you see anything that looks just a little questionable, and we can come check it out. And we don't tell them who lets us know, we just come in and try and at least find out who these people are. We've stopped transients behind the Knollwood Plaza before, one of them was a sexual predator, some of them are parolees, some of them are just guys out of luck, you know, just trying to find a place to be. So let us investigate it, don't confront anybody, but let me know. That would help me out tremendously. Yes, sir.
There is a shed in the land south of the Knollwood Methodist Church. There's a green one. There's somebody there. And the trouble is, that property is in a sale process or something like that. We don't know how to contact. I'm a trustee at the Knollwood Methodist Church, and we've had problems in that area. But there is somebody living in that location, and it's tracked along.
Saturday I'm working, and one of the things that I will do then, I wanted to do it last Saturday, and then things got a little crazy in our office and I wasn't able to, is just come in my scrappies and walk from one side to the other and see who's in there and see what we can do. Like I said, if we have shelters, we have places that we try to get people to go to, but sometimes people just prefer the lifestyle, and you know, so it is what it is. Tomorrow, sorry for the short notice, some of you may have gotten emails about it or email blasts, is Battle of the Badges blood drive. If any of you guys like to give or donate blood, it would be awesome if you guys could come. It's from 10 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. right over at Devonshire Station. And they're giving away 2 Laugh Factory tickets, a voucher for a Clippers tickets, or a voucher for a LA Kings home game, discount tickets to the Anaheim Ducks at the Honda Center, and you get a t-shirt. Not all of us, but you get a pick. Kind of cool pricing. And they give you cookies and juice, and you don't have to feel guilty for eating or drinking it, because you just gave blood, so the calories don't count. That's what I tell myself, I'm stuffing my face with Oreos. So I'm gonna leave these here. And if you don't wanna go, but you know that somebody else might be able to go, that would be really helpful. Real briefly, I know that we have a lot of people that are upset about the DMV. Are you guys gonna talk about that later?
Yeah, just, again, for some of you that came in, the school had a function that we didn't know about, and they didn't realize that they booked the auditorium double, and that's why we're in this room. How many people are here about DMV? Okay, what we'll do is we'll move that up, and I also want to move one thing we have dealing with your workshop, so that you kids don't have to stay here forever, okay?
All right.
Yeah, so.
Any questions for me regarding crime in the area?
My next door neighbor got burglarized a couple of weeks ago, again north of Rinaldi. I don't know if this is the same spree of incidents that you were talking about, but it seemed really organized and very planned.
Well, we're finding out a lot of the burglaries that are happening in our division. It's a combination of things. We have the knock-knock burglars, and you guys have probably all heard of them, where they knock on your door, and if nobody answers, they'll go around to the back and kick the door in, and they come in. We're finding that a lot of those people aren't necessarily from the valley. They come in from the south end. They have radios, walkie-talkies, cell phones. They talk with each other. They'll have a person drop them off. They'll pull around the corner. When they're getting ready to bring out the loot, then this person comes back and boom, they're off. So this is where neighborhood watch is especially important, because you guys are the ones that see it. We're not there all the, like I was up in Knollwood a lot today, and along Chatsworth Quarter, because we had some crimes over there. But the odds of me running into it are slim, but the odds of you guys looking out the window and going, I know my neighbor doesn't have a van, and I know they're not moving or whatever. You pick up the phone and make that 911 call. We'll come out, and even if we're not there real fast, the airship usually can come overhead and we catch them that way. So if you see it, if you don't have a neighborhood watch group, our captain is really excited, as are we, to start up more neighborhood watch groups. It's really easy to do a startup meeting. I'm happy to come out and help you do that. Give me a call, and you guys have my contact numbers. It would have been, I'm sorry I didn't think to bring flyers today for that. If you need my information, let me give you my email address. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And that is 30392 at lapd.lacity.org. Good way to get a hold of me. Another thing that I like to do is send out messages on Nextdoor, which is a program you can sign up for. It's free. They verify who you are before you are accepted onto this website. And what it does is when we have things happening, or I have a meeting that's coming up, or things, anything like that, I put it out there, and it's specific to our area, which is nice. It allows you guys to contact each other, so you can have conversations with people that live in your neighborhood, like, did you see that man down the street? Did anybody else notice it? Or, you're able to contact each other. We cannot monitor you. Your conversation is with yourselves. You can contact us. You can send me a post or send me an inquiry, and I can respond to you then. But it's a really good way, because email blasting is nice. I like it, and it's a good way to communicate with you guys. But if I only want to talk to people that live in Knollwood, the Nextdoor lets me do that. And when I send out an email blast, you guys can't talk with each other. Nextdoor lets you talk with each other. So it's a good website to go on. And they obviously don't sell your address and have everybody have access to your information. Any other questions?
Aline, did you want to say anything?
Sure, briefly. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Aline Sahigian. I'm the neighborhood prosecutor for the Devonshire area. If some of you might already know me, if you don't, I just wanted to give a minute of what I do. I basically deal with all the quality of life crimes within the Devonshire area. I work very closely with the senior lead officers for all the basic car areas. I have an office at the senior lead trailer within the Devonshire division, and I work with all the different agencies, including Public Works, LADBS, Health Department, sanitation, watershed protection, to address the quality of life issues that permeate your specific neighborhoods. If you have any questions, I could give you my email, and you could email me if you have any problem people or problem locations. That's exactly what I'm here for. I also vertically prosecute all the cases. I was in court in San Fernando earlier this morning, and basically the officers let me, give the cases to me so that I could vertically prosecute them. If there are transients or other individuals that need to be put on stay-away locations, I update the officers on who those individuals are, and we have a very close connection that they are able to target those problem people on problem locations in such a way. My email address is Aline, A-L-I-N Sahigian, S-A-H, S like Sam, S-A-H-A-G-I-A-N @lacity.org. aline.sahagian@lacity.org. Also, I wanted to take a minute more of your time to let you know the upcoming town hall in which, yes,
I just wanna hear that again in case I missed a letter.
sure, ALIN dot S like Sam, AHAGIAN at lacity.org. IAN, yes. Okay, sure. I also wanted to let you know of the upcoming town hall for the Devonshire area, in which LA City Attorney Mike Hewer himself will be hosting and presenting the quality of life issues that directly impact Devonshire. So this is a unique opportunity for you to come and see the city attorney. I will also be present, and he will be discussing the issues that impact your neighborhood, and if you have any questions, you could ask him. I think there's a question and answer session at the end of the town hall. It's gonna be on March 11th, and it's gonna be at the Granada Hills Women's Club. The time is yet not specified, but it's gonna be around 6 p.m. And the flyers will be forwarded to all the neighborhood councils within the Devonshire area.
And if possible, I'd love you folks to stick around. I'm gonna take the meeting out of order, to deal with, all these folks. I hate to see you all standing, I'm so sorry. But, we'll try to get to the DND first, and probably need your input. Megan, anything from the council office? And Megan, thank you so much. Thank the councilman for the tools and sending one of your folks out to work with us on Cessna on Saturday. Cessna looks so much nicer. It's unbelievable.
Well, great, and, big, shout out to Bill Cotter, who
Yay,
did all
good
the
Bill.
I take no credit for that. Bill did a wonderful job organizing everyone, and it was the least we can do. I know we've talked about a community cleanup in Granada Hills, but congratulations to the neighborhood council. I understand there were a good number of people out there cleaning it up, and it's our pleasure to help you guys out with anything like that in the future. So I hope it was pretty painless, at least with regards to getting the tools,
With
and we'll
regards
get,
to the tools, it was painless. A few people are still aching, but.
Great. Yes.
The
So
tools were not harmed, just the people.
there we go. So congratulations to the neighborhood councils with regards to that. I did want to say, and I know that you mentioned the DNB parking lot. I just want to say that the motion that I spoke about at the last meeting is scheduled for this Friday to be heard in front of the Los Angeles City Council. This Friday is also a Van Nuys City Council Day, so if anyone wanted to give testimony, they're certainly welcome to do so. At the last meeting, I informed the neighborhood council that Councilmember Englander introduced a motion to ask the City of Los Angeles to allow the state government basically to enforce it within the parking lot, which is private property. So it's a multi-jurisdictional issue, but we were asked by the state to do that, and I'm happy to say that it's scheduled for Friday's council meeting. I did also want to mention that.
Do most of the people that are here for DMV know what we're doing?
No.
Well, we
Because-
can talk about it later. I'll give a quick update, and then I'll turn the meeting. Well, I won't talk about the DMV meetings. I know we'll talk about it in greater detail. But I did want to say, and I hope the members of the neighborhood council got my email, that on the 25th of this month, we will be having a conversations with council right here in Granada Hills. This is a meeting open to neighborhood council members. We'll be featuring our very own Aline, neighborhood prosecutor, so you'll get to see her again. We'll also have representatives from building and safety there to talk about quality of life issues in our community. It's at the Ed Davis Training Center right up here off of Blucher. So if you haven't been to that facility yet, I'm sure many of you have. It's a great opportunity to see it. I also wanted to talk about, since the last meeting we celebrated, we remembered, I guess, the 21st anniversary of the Northridge earthquake. As a result of some resources that have been put into play with regards to earthquakes and preparing for earthquakes in the community of Los Angeles. The Mayor Garcetti released a Resilience by Design community workshop that talks about many things that communities need to do to be prepared for the next big earthquake. I know back in '94, how many of you were here in '94? So you know what impact these earthquakes can have on our community. This community was hit especially hard by that. The Resilience by Design plan is something that came out of the Mayoral Seismic Task Force, which includes Dr. Lucy Jones with the U.S. Geological Survey. She's one of the foremost experts on earthquakes and community preparedness for earthquakes. We had a presentation at the Devonshire PAL Center in Northridge. We were full and we had to actually turn people away, but what they basically talked about is a community plan and one thing that we heard is reinforcing soft first-story buildings or reinforcing buildings that are non-ductile reinforced concrete buildings that are most at risk of collapsing in these types of disasters. Councilmember Englander and I know many others in the community of Los Angeles have been focused on, that's all well and good, reinforcements do take quite a bit of money, as we know, and how do we do that in a fair manner that's welcoming to businesses, that allows businesses to prepare. And so some of the things he proposed is local tax breaks and property tax credits to buildings that would have to be reinforced, making sure that there's plenty of awareness, and letting homeowners and building owners know that retrofitting, though costly, has public safety, social, and financial benefit, and then protecting our building stock. For any retrofit building policy to see, we must present to building owners with options that make financial sense to them. We can't just say, here, you have to do this by X date. We have to work with them on a plan. So the council member has asked the Housing and Community Investment Department to report back on costs of retrofitting, and has asked city attorney to draft language for a retrofit program within the city that allows for public input. And so, though it's a sensitive issue, it always is a sensitive issue when there's money involved. We want to make sure that whatever retrofitting plan is put into place makes sense for business owners. And I think that's pretty much it, unless anyone has any questions for me. Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, Ann, do them leave? Okay. Guillermo?
Hi,
2 minutes?
Oh, sorry, Mike, just one thing really quick. I did want to remind everyone too, I had flyers here, but I forgot to mention that the Battle of the Badges is on Monday. I don't know if we talked about it.
It's tomorrow.
My flyer says Monday, February 9th.
Different one. Is that for a different one?
Maybe it's a
That's different
rematch. It's a rematch battle.
Oh, that's the fire department.
Oh, fire department.
Go to the police one.
Oh.
Are the fire
I
department
have a
here?
place for those
Okay,
flyers.
yeah.
See, the fire department sent a representative, whereas the
There you go.
police came, so come to ours.
Well, so donate blood tomorrow, or donate blood.
Donate often.
Donate often. Donate frequently. Thanks, guys. Oh, and Monday, that's fire.
Tomorrow.
Sorry, Guillermo.
Well, my name is Guillermo Gonzalez. Is that okay if I can talk about the DMV right now, or?
Well, yeah, or you can wait until DMV
Okay,
time.
if you want, I can wait.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. And Ann? Sir? Did you want to speak on an issue, or?
I just general public comment.
Okay, then you have 2 minutes.
Right now?
Yes.
All right. Hello. My name is Jason Ackerman. I am on the Encino Neighborhood Council, but when I'm not serving the people of Encino, I am volunteering on Ankur Patel's campaign for LAUSD District 3. We're looking to challenge and hopefully unseat Tamar Gallatin. One of the things that we would like to bring to the table, which we're going to continue on whether or not we make it past the runoff, is our Campus Councils Initiative. And what that is basically working with the neighborhood councils and the education committee particularly to help get students at local schools plugged in with their local neighborhood councils. So that way it gives the students hands-on experience with local government, and it gives the local government a real voice of the students, because parents know a lot about what's going on in their students' life, but they also don't know a lot about what's going on in the students' life. And we desperately need to recruit minors and younger people of the community into the neighborhood council system anyway. So this kind of helps neighborhood councils reach out to the kids, helps the kids learn about local government, and everybody wins. So just a reminder, please do vote March 3rd. If you're not going to vote for Ankur, just vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wade, did you want to speak now, or?
No, I'll hold it for when you do the evening. Great, thank you.
Okay, if it's okay with the council, I'd like to just, right now, jump to, Plum, section G, letter A. Is that okay, Jen?
Yes, fine.
Can you please address, what your committee, came up with?
Yeah, just so that those of you who are with us tonight who are not normally here, my name is Jan Subar, and I'm the co-chairperson of the Planning and Land Use Management Committee for Granada Hills North. I'd like everybody, board members included, to know that Plum spent a long time discussing the issue of the DMV office that went in. We had some stakeholders who were local come and talk to us as well. And we've come up with a plan for now that we hope our board will look at and approve, and maybe we can get it going. There are DMV offices around Los Angeles that are basically appointment-only offices, places where people have to make appointments to come in to get a driver's license, to do other things. We feel, and I'll take your feedback, and we got feedback from local community members, that the majority of the issues at this new office stem from everybody wanting to come in and get new driver's licenses. So our feeling is, if we could ask our city officials to make this another office that people have to come in by appointment, it would decrease the amount of loitering, it would decrease the amount of people parking, and it would make it a more civil office for the community. So we have a motion that we would like our board to vote on, that basically asks, we would like to send letters to the people that are notified here that this office become an office like many other DMV offices in Los Angeles that would take appointments only, that would not just be a stand in line all day, walk in, come for your appointment. So if everybody on the board could take a look at motion number A, our motion is that the Plum Committee would like to send a letter to the following people listed in order to mitigate traffic and parking impacts that would make that DMV office an office that would take appointments only.
Let me read the motion.
Okay.
The motion is that the GHNC board write a letter to be sent to Scott Wilk, California State Assembly, the office of Governor Jerry Brown, the head of the California DMV, with a copy to LAPD, Devonshire and Mission divisions, and Councilman Mitch Englander, requesting that the DMV Supercenter office at San Fernando Mission and Woodley be made into an appointment-only office to mitigate the traffic and parking impacts on the immediate neighborhood caused by the massive volumes of driver's license applicants.
Thank you.
Okay, any board conversation? Any board questions? Guillermo, you wanna start?
Well, my name is Guillermo Gonzalez. I live exactly in Woolney and San Fernando Mission. We have a lot of issues, not only with the parking, but at the same time, this is a very quiet area that is not very often to start seeing people. We start seeing strange people surrounding our house. And only that, we start seeing graffitis on the alley of the house. It's like, for us, it's very strange. We've never been in a situation like that before. Not only with the parking, but at the same time, we have vendors outside of the DMV. Sometimes we have people selling, I don't know, DVDs, books, mangoes, tacos. It's a very strange situation. At the same time, we start seeing outside of the house a lot of trash, like the plumpers. A couple of times we found plumpers. It's a horrible situation that we are living right now. I can't believe it that this is Granada Hills. This is start changing a lot the area, and if we don't stop this situation right now, maybe Granada Hills is gonna be the new Van Nuys in a couple of years, and we need to be
Don't
aware.
say that, Guillermo.
Yeah, I'm
Nothing
scared.
against Van Nuys, I'm just saying.
If you go to that area and stay there for a couple of days, you will see what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's all.
We appreciate that. I know do we have anyone in the audience that wants to speak for the DMV? Okay.
No, just kidding, Mike.
Leave it to you, Peter.
I was just kidding, just kidding.
Does anyone else that's here about the DMV have a different outlook or have anything else to add? Yes, sir.
I mean, same thing as him. I mean, I lived there my whole entire life. I live on San Fernando Mission and Woodley, same thing. We're a couple feet away. I leave my house around 3 o'clock. As soon as I leave my parking spot, people are already with emergency lights, waiting to take my spot. I come home sometimes at 8 o'clock. There's always random cars, staying overnight as well. And I'm forced to park in my alley, and the same thing is our alley is horrible. Potholes are always happening, they repave them, the same thing, it's really hard for us to get into our backyards if we don't have parking in the front. And the same thing, I see burnouts in front of, burnout tracks in front of my house, and I've never seen anything like that, The same thing as him, like I see carts on the corner.
If you're blocking the alleyway too, in any way, that's illegal parking, so in essence, you're being forced to park illegally,
Yeah.
if that's the case.
I mean, that's why I came here,
And then you'll get a ticket.
Then we get tickets.
Yeah.
Being parked in the alley.
It's a horrible situation.
Yeah, so.
We completely agree with all of you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name's Eric. I live in the same neighborhood and, parking is bad. I have my mother-in-law here and she's on an oxygen tank and she has absolutely no parking at all. So what do we do for her?
Now, is this, they're parking overnight, staying in their cars so they can get into the DMV in the morning, or what?
No, the parking start like also filled up about 7:30 until 7 p.m., 8 p.m.
Okay, but not overnight.
No, but
Okay,
Saturday.
that's kind of what I got from this
No,
gentleman.
it's just like, sometimes there's a random cars, like kinda like beat up cars that sometimes stay overnight and then they just leave.
Yes, Jen?
Just so that you know, I've been out of town for the last about 9 days, but I did receive a message, I do not know who it was from, with somebody saying exactly what you are, that now they're seeing some cars that are parked there overnight that may have been with groups that are coming, and they leave a car there and they all go home in a car. So there have been a few cars that have now been staying overnight. It may not have been at the beginning.
Okay. Ralph?
Well, we've had meetings there, we have our council, and sometimes we have difficulties parking there too.
Right. Bill?
I'd like to suggest we amend the motion to also ask for a neighborhood parking zone to be placed in that area where the residents can get permits to park along the streets in front of their houses, and then other people can park there during the periods of the day. There are plenty of those all over the city for all sorts of other reasons and districts. I was just going to visit my daughter in West LA on the weekend, and oh, great, there's a parking spot. Oh, no, there's a sign, no parking spot. If I've ever seen a neighborhood that could benefit from the use of a neighborhood parking zone, I would think that would be an ideal one. I'd really like to suggest we move forward vigorously with that.
Wade?
Yeah, I kinda pushed the appointments only because I thought that would cure it, but some statistics that I got, it was 17,000 on the first day. People here for applications, and it's dropped to somewhere, I think about 3,200 now. If you take a look at what's there's roughly 25 businesses, there's 350 parking spaces. Even if they were to budget the time based on the 3,200, they need 400 parking spaces per hour in order to service that DMV. There's something very wrong here. And the city is not doing their job. I'm sorry, LAPD, no, sorry. I blow around there's cars all over the place like these people are saying here. There's parking problems continually. They can't even get in their own driveways, in their own garages. It's really bad. There needs to be enforcement out there, and I'm not sure that what we're asking for is gonna solve it, because I think that whole thing needs to be totally addressed based on the available parking. For 25 businesses, 350, you gotta turn around and ration them. There's got to be something there that says, DMV, you can't even bring in 3,200 people a
Let's
day.
not forget the Kennedy parking too. It's just not conducive.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys, and you know what? I wish that I could be there being your traffic officer, but unfortunately, we don't have the resources to put an officer out there all the time. I understand, not that it fixes the problem, but I understand that CHP has agreed to put extra patrol in the actual parking lot. And so that's, at least that's something. We're directing our officers to provide extra patrol in the area because we can do that. And when we see something and we have extra time, like today when I was up and down Woodley, I didn't see anything I could cite, but we're aware that it's there. And we're on board with you guys, or I should say I'm on board. I agree, it's not helping our area, it's not good for our community.
But the problem is the state, you can't do anything to them. That's the big problem. They have put it in here now, and basically they're home free, and they go figure. I think we should also be asking the city of Los Angeles to also address the governor, the head of the DMV, and everybody else in order to get this under control, because this is our life. This is, you're talking about quality of life.
We are sending the Mitch in this
Yeah.
motion.
And by the way, and you did modify the motion, you said Devonshire and Mission, which is, I'm just gonna say you.
The mission is actually a typo, it should be Devonshire.
Okay,
It's
good,
Devonshire.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is the owner of the parking lot here?
No, Mr. Gill is not here. Mr.
Okay,
Gill,
well-
no, Mr. Gill only talks to us when he wants to collect our rent for our office.
Right, well, I've been here since 1970, and I think I met the grandfather back then. They're pretty hard-nosed people. Is this area, can we put a city business in a private area here? Residential? Is that legal?
Well, it's
I
in
know it's private property.
it's in a commercial zoned area.
Yeah, but you're with a state, business in a private property.
I don't know.
There was no notice.
Yeah, I didn't know until it was there.
When a business goes in, they're supposed to send a notice out to 500 feet to all the homeowners. We never got a notice, and I live right across the street from it.
I don't know that if someone is renting a
Yes,
building.
even Taco Bell was there. All those stores that are there, they had to send out a notice within 500 feet of all the residents, and we never got a
Jan, will you
notice.
check into that?
Yeah, I'm right.
The second thing is, there's an alley there next to Department of Water and Power on San Fernando Mission, right off of Woodley West. Sometimes the cars are parked right into the alley, like a foot. And it's hard to get into the alley,
Okay.
because the cars are parking, not all the time, but sometimes they're just parking too far into the alley, because there's not, everybody's trying to cram in for
I'm sure
space.
Janine will now take a look at that.
I will. From me, obviously I had no control over the DMV being there or not being there.
No, I understand.
I can do what I can as far as some of the quality of life issues that you're having. For example, if people are parking illegally on the street, not in the private property, but if they're parking illegally in the streets, I can cite them. I've heard things like defecating in public or urinating in public. If I see that, they're gonna get cited for that. And if we see anything that is illegal, we can cite for that. I can't, as a police officer, get the DMV out. It's not like when you have a drug house and we can get people abated. I can't abate the DMV. So you guys are gonna have to go bigger than me for that, but I can help you with the
I
quality
just wanna
of
know
life
why
issues.
we didn't get notice that was going in, so we can go
That's a
down to
good
City
question.
Hall
I
and
didn't get a
protest.
notice
We
either.
had no chance of going to City Hall and protesting. And that's the purpose of sending that notice out.
Megan has something to say.
Yeah, I don't think that, because of the type of use, I don't believe that there has to be a notification. There's only notification, is that right?
I believe
Yeah,
you're correct.
there's only notifications that go in if it's certain types of businesses, but because.
Or if they're
And I will say
remodeling.
Maria and Jan are
Yeah.
probably know better than I do.
And when you're talking about the Taco Bell, when
I
they
think maybe they did a
notified you,
driveway.
it was probably because they were adding a drive-through, or they were adding onto the building, and they were making a physical change to the building.
No, that's when they
That
put
has
the building in. When they
Yeah,
put the
that
building
has
in.
to be notified.
Yeah, and
Okay, but when they're leasing it out,
Wait on. They made a physical change to the building. Not only did we do the inside, they also took out the loading dock on the back end. That's all being
Well,
removed.
then
That's a
Jason changed
major
it.
renovation.
And just for everyone's knowledge, the city of Los Angeles doesn't get notifications either. And it's not the city of, the city of Los Angeles didn't have to approve anything, or we have no oversight with regards to the type of use of the structure.
Excuse me, Megan, doesn't the city have to
Scott, just-
issue an occupancy permit?
I think building and safety issue.
Right, so if I were to open a supermarket, they would say how many parking spots do you have, how many customers you have, and you have to justify a certain number of parking spots for a certain number of customers.
Sure.
And I'd
And
really
I don't-
like to know what happened on this one.
I don't know what the ratio is for this one.
I doubt if they could
Yeah, that's a good
pass it.
question.
That's a good question.
Okay, Scott?
Yeah, my name is Scott Manette, and I'm a member of this council. I've been a member since day one. I worked on the formation of it, and the goal that we had in mind is to protect the neighborhood. And I just don't see it happening. I'm disappointed in the city attorney, I'm disappointed in the police department. We've got a committee that's working very hard in order to get this heard wherever it can be heard. If ever there was an issue created for a body like this, or we were created for the issue, this is it. And it isn't just, I'm saying, let's go out and march. We don't march. There's things that can be done. I'm not a lawyer, I don't know these things. But our chair here and her council are working pretty hard to determine what can be done. I'd just like to say that I'm 100% behind neighbors. I support you. I don't know what I can do, but anything I can, and anything this group I'm sure will be done. I think there truly is an issue that we were born to solve. You know, I don't want to just go on talking. I think I've had my share. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
My name is Susie Thompson, and I don't live directly, but I live in the Granada Hills area. Since there was a change in the occupancy, and to get the building permits to make the changes, don't they need an environmental impact study since there's a change, bringing in a lot more people than what the grocery store did?
I don't believe so.
Other places do.
My boss says that they do.
Sure.
My boss is a contractor.
This is for the officer.
Yeah.
Since this is gonna go through a lot of legal rigmarole, what if we all of us who live on Mission or in Woodley, if we're to put cones in front of our houses, is that illegal or? Because I've seen some neighbors do that.
It's illegal, and because you're I'm sorry, but yeah, if let's say somebody got hurt running over one of those cones, or it's a hazard in the street, and so you can't do that, and you can't paint the curbs red or do anything like that.
Can I put up a meter?
One of the things,
I like that idea.
that's really not a bad idea, except for it would be bad for you, because then when you want to park your car.
No, because we could.
So I got the key.
That would be good. I mean, anything that you guys can think of, and I understand your frustration, sir, with the department. We had nothing to do with this building being put in. We had no idea it was happening. Nobody notified me as the senior lead officer for this area. I found out about it one day when I was driving by and said, oh, they put the DMV there. And I didn't even know the impact it was having until when I came back. I was on vacation, and when I came back, Dario updated me about what was going on, and that's how I found out, just for you guys, how bad it really is. And for me too, because when there's crime in the area, I'm responsible for that crime in the area. I have to come up with ways to put resources there. You know, for me, my job is to make sure that we have specialized units where we're getting broken into, having, if we can have vice working something or narcotics working something. So now I'm worrying about traffic issues in addition to the fact that we have all these crimes happening. So I'll do my best. I heard a little something about the DOT, Department of Transportation, that they're not enforcing, or they're not gonna be able to do enforcement on there for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I'm gonna try and talk with Department of Transportation and see if we can't get a little extra enforcement. I get that you're angry, but the police department and the neighborhood councils and all that, let's work together. Let's work together and see how we can
Well,
solve
they're
this problem.
legally parked. It's public property.
Right,
I
and
understand
that's where my problem comes in, because if you have wall-to-wall cars legally parked, as a law enforcement officer, what is my job to do?
You can do that.
Nothing. I can't do anything. They're not breaking
She
the law.
can only enforce the law.
Exactly.
If someone's got a new comment to make, okay, rather than just beating the same horse here.
What if they park like a foot away and then you can get out? Can you call?
Someone
You
to
can
cite them?
call, that would be an interesting sight. I've never in 22 years had to
I
write
mean,
somebody
you
for
can
parking
go
too
out
close to somebody, but I'm sure there's something somewhere. And then we can also let, our Valley Traffic Division know. We have our senior lead officer for Valley Traffic, and, if he doesn't already know, I'll make sure that he knows that you guys would appreciate extra patrol, in the area as
Especially
well.
if there's reckless driving going on.
There's also jaywalking. I saw a
Right.
good one the other day of two parents pushing a stroller right in the middle of the street.
That's another
They
thing.
didn't get
that we
hit,
heard.
but
All right,
Yeah, all parking enforcement and.
Sid,
Yeah, I just want to get back to this. I want to second Bill Cotter's motion.
I would ask Bill to take the motion out, because I think planning and land use needs to read up on it, do some research, okay? And let them bring it to the board, to see if we, can do it, what the steps are, and bring it to the next meeting. If that's okay with you,
As long as we have a.
rather than shoot from the hip on this.
It's already being done, we're already looking into that, we didn't put it into this motion because we didn't feel we would be ready by today. And we also know that that process can take a year, so we're looking into if that process can be done, how can we get it done quicker? So it is being looked at.
Sid?
The other issue that I heard alluded to is the vendors.
Yeah.
And that
Are you
to
having
me is
vending
total.
problems?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can enforce
They're selling
that.
snow cones.
Yeah, I can do enforcement with that. And that's also building and safety, and also the health department is also doing those things. So I can do it when I'm working, if I need to cite someone. If you guys see that and you call, let building and safety know, you can go online. And the more people we have just hammering it, the better.
Okay, I wanna wrap this up, Richard.
I talked to the owner, Richard Geld, last Thursday about this issue, and he's very upset that his other tenants, like all the other ones in there, are losing business, and they're jumping all over him. So he's actually told me he is behind your motion to make it a appointment only.
Wait.
I think you should go ahead with the motion, because at least that's.
Thank you. All right, yes.
Real quick, so in the meantime, who do I need to call to get a handicap space in front of our house?
Okay.
Did they do that with this?
Well, you can start with us, yeah, I can give you my card, and,
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, Megan's doing that. The motion, and I will amend the motion to say Devonshire rather than Mission. So all in favor of amending the motion? Okay, if there's no if there are no objections from the board, we would like to call the vote unanimous in support of the motion, and the minute taker will indicate a yes for all board members present on the vote by count form. Okay, moving on to the motion. Do we have anybody against it? Okay, if there are no objections from the board, we would like to call the vote unanimous in support of the motion, and the minute taker will indicate a yes vote for all the board members present on the vote count form. So that motion carries. And folks, you have to understand, we are an advisory committee. We don't have any enforcement powers, but we will write letters, and we will work with Megan and with Janine and with Arlene, and see if we can't do something to help you, because we can't even get into our office for meetings. So but then, and that's just, we feel the pain like 1 day or 2 days a month. You're feeling it every day, and I can't tell you how sorry we are for you. Okay?
Quick, I didn't mention this earlier, are you guys familiar, it's a different topic,
Yeah.
but, right before we, are you guys familiar with the Oceans restaurants?
Yes.
Okay, they have requested an alcohol permit. And, real quick, because Aline's also handling that, does anybody have any opinions? They want us to go out to the community and ask your opinions, what you think about it, which is.
Once an alcohol permit goes in, it stays with the property, does not go with the owner. So it's there, and they start with a beer and wine license, and the next thing they want is a 47, which is a full alcohol permit.
And how do you guys feel about that? That's what we wanna know.
Can somebody tell us where this is exactly?
Debbie Balboa, that's true, I guess I could give you the address. It is at 17062 through 68. It's by the learning, it's right by that learning store. It's by Denny's, it's kind of in between those. And it's by Lake Shore, yes. Okay, but this affects your community because you guys eat, shop, sleep in the area, work in the area. Yes, ma'am.
There's already a problem with that, Ocean, there's a-
Ocean's Cafe.
Ocean Cafe, there's hookah lounges, there's smoking in there. Also, I believe one of your special units have been looking at that. Look, at there's a significant number of calls that go into that kind of a thing. This is why with this specific plan, we're very concerned about these kind of crime magnets. Also, you know, taking it one step further for an alcohol license, there's no way to have those, CUPs or CUVs looked at, you know, down the road to see if they've been complying. So I would strongly advise against.
Okay, there's also a bar right there, these bars right there, Denny's serves beer and wine, right? So if you want a beer and wine, it's not your only option, so go ahead, I'm sorry, you're next. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Sir.
This is not an agenda item and it's turning into a discussion. I think we should stop.
Okay, we will stop. If you have any opinions that you wish to express, I've given you my email, and Aline's given you her email. Can you let us know for or against? We just want your opinion, which is nice. I've never seen them actually come out and ask. Usually they ask my opinion, and usually when it comes to alcohol, it's always.
That is done. Aline, I'm gonna take this out of order. What, no?
About the liquor, is that a
Bill,
liquor store
Bill, we're
or
not
a
gonna talk about
restaurant?
the liquor, okay?
Google
It's
the
not on the
location
agenda.
if you want. Google the location, and I'm so sorry, it just came up today. Google the location, or take a look, walk in, get, and then give me your opinion of what you think.
There's gonna be
Okay?
a public hearing on that matter.
Wally is here, she alluded to a workshop that is coming up, and the executive committee has a possible motion. Mike Fear will be having a town hall meeting on March 11th, 2015, at the Granada Hills Women's Club. Granada Hills North Neighborhood Council would be agreeable to becoming a sponsor by promoting the event to the community and allowing them to place our logo on the city attorney invitation flyer. And if it's agreeable, please email the council logo to include in the flyer. Does anyone on the board have a problem with that? Okay, if there are no objections from the board, we'd like to call the vote unanimous in support of the motion, and the minute taker will indicate a yes vote for all board members present on the vote count form. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
Just give me whatever you can, and we'll make sure it blasts out.
I'm sorry, what's one more question? This gentleman back here, we're neighbors, and when you go out the alley, since there's so many cars now, you can't, see cars coming at you. So if I was to put a mirror across, one of those round mirrors across the street, on one of the poles, I could see
You'd be
cars coming.
subjecting yourself to a lot of liability.
Not only that, you can't mount it on a public property like that.
That's what I know.
Just save yourself the liability.
If you have that issue, and I know we're, one thing you can do, DOT, possibly talk to them about maybe just putting 10 feet of red there, and then maybe that way when you pull out, you can see, possibly. Okay?
All right, I really want to thank all you folks for being out here, and you're very welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. Okay, so, okay, we're going back to the meeting now. Approval of the January board minutes. Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Scott moves. Bob seconds. Folks, can you please take the conversation outside?
Oh, yeah, mine's garage.
Thank you. Any additions, deletions? Okay. If there are no objections from the board, we would like to call the vote unanimous in support of the motion, and the minute taker will indicate a yes vote for all board members present on the vote count form. Bill? Item of the motion.
Yes. Okay, if, over there, and those of you that have already left can come back and get them. where we offer an EP item of the month, every month at our meetings here. This time we have a adhesive bandage for your EP or first aid kit. They're right over there where sewer flashing red lights are. Please take one on your way out, and you get a different item at each meeting. So the more often you come, the sooner you get your own personal emergency preparedness kit built. And yes, we do periodically repeat them because you often need more than one in the kit. So if you got any questions, and all that information on the table there is free literature for you to take, please do so. And if you have any questions about it, I'll be around after the meeting to answer them for you.
Thank you, Bill. All right, Vanessa, Time Warner, did we find out anything?
Time Warner's not got, there's no specials, there's no deals, unless we commit to a 2-year contract.
You can't do it. Okay, so will somebody bring a motion to the next meeting? Yes, Bill.
Also on part of that was the idea of eliminating the phone. We can do that very easily. We can also get that Google phone that we had talked about, which rings anybody's, or multiple phones if we need to. One thing we cannot do is we would not be able to keep the same phone number, because that's a VoIP, voice over IP protocol phone. And at the moment, Google Voice does not permit porting of those number to the Google Voice system. But we can easily get a new number, and you do have a selection as you go through. Find one that maybe has a nice ring to it, or alliteration or something that looks well, and simply start putting that on the letterhead instead. And we should be able to reduce it, I'm guessing maybe $25 to $30, depending on the plan, just by cutting the phone.
And I don't think anybody spends enough time in that office to justify having the internet in there also.
Exactly.
So we'll bring that as a motion from the executive committee. We'll talk about it in executive next month. Okay. Discuss possible visit to Davis Center.
Mike,
I'm sorry.
can I make a suggestion at some point? When you get a break, can we take the second plum motion and move it forward? We have somebody from the county here that's
Oh, okay.
as well.
All right.
And so when we can fit it in.
Let me just bring you up to date on this. I talked to Lieutenant Brian Rafish and Captain Venstra at Davis, and because that is part of our area, and I don't think any of the board really is familiar with Davis. How many people have actually been to the Davis Center and know what happens up there? Ralph, Bill, 4 of you. I just have to work it out with the city attorney that we can all go there as a group, and without violating any Brown Act. Either ways, we have to go 4 at a time, and or 3 at a time. 6. Okay, 6, whatever it is. Anyway, I would like you all to see it so that you know what it is. And how many people have been to MWD? I know I have.
You might need to revisit the specifics on the board getting together. I don't think they're, and here's the reason, if 10 of us show up at a party, 4 of us don't have to leave. It depends on what's talked about, because
Well, we'll be talking, that's what I'm talking to Darren about.
And,
I'd rather take everybody in there as one group.
so we've got that issue. I think that would be okay.
And if any of you have never been to MWD, MWD is probably one of the most dangerous places in our neighborhood. And DWP right next to it, but MWD is very close to Balboa, and there's chlorine tank cars in there. Okay, but it's very impressive how they handle them and how they protect them. So I think you all should know what's in your neighborhood. So when we're voting on stuff, you've actually seen it and can rely on it. Ralph and Rob has been taking people up to the landfill, so you can kind of see what's going on up there. Okay.
So what's with, I don't understand about the walking the tour for that too?
I'm working on it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I just said. I discussed. I mean,
You said Davis, but
yeah, everybody wants to go, right? I figured as much. So I'm trying to put that together, and I think it'll be enlightening for everybody. Okay. All right. To move to Plum, number B. Motion is the letter be sent to the LA County Board of Supervisors, LA County Department of Public Works opposing the parts of the county sedimentation plan that allows for the removal of sedimentation to be used as a daily cover for the landfill operations at Sunshine Canyon landfill. The concern is that sedimentation includes particulate matter in the 2.5 micron to 10 micron range, harmful to humans, and the settlement contains heavy metals from erosion of soils. Then this